sight, the Lord our rock and our Redeemer. Follow me, Jesus calls, and the fishermen Simon and Andrew, James and John drop what they're doing and follow. I've been learning a lot about following in the past few months. In mid-September, I began swing dancing within a beginner class. Swing dance is a broad term for several kind of variations on the theme of a social dance that began in the early 20th century, most notably in the Savoy Ballroom of Harlem, New York in the 1920s. Now, I have done some swing dancing before, but until this fall, I had never for any length of time done the original social dance. As a partnered social dance, like other ballroom dances, there are two distinct parts: lead and follow. Traditionally, men are leads and women are follows. And while that's mostly still the case, those gendered distinctions have long since given way to terminology and practice of lead and follow. Because the dance needs two people who each have a distinct and particular role. I signed up as a follow and have continued in that role as I've progressed into levels 2 and now 3. Perhaps one day I will endeavor to learn the lead part, but for now I'm a follow only. It's really very fun, and I find that I'm not particularly eager to literally start on the other foot. Besides that, following has really interesting challenges. People can hear music and rhythm quite differently. Everyone moves differently, and so dancing in direct connection with another human is different every time. We all learn the same steps, we all have the same instruction, and yet as we rotate through the room to dance with different people, the dance changes considerably. Different energy levels, different step sizes, different musicality. One of the first things the follow teacher said was how if dancing with a lead who has a different experience of the music than that she just approaches it as a challenge to follow that different way, that unfamiliar rhythm. The dance only works if the two people move together, and the follow is not the one who's in control. Which isn't to say that following is at all passive. It takes actually a lot of concentration and trust to let go of any agenda and follow however my heart leads. As a follow, my job is to continue with some standard footwork that we're taught, to stay connected with energy and some basic technique, to pay attention to the physical cues of my lead, and to respond. And that all happens very quickly. That's pretty much it. It is truly remarkable how much dance, how many different steps and turns and holds can emerge from those basics. Footwork, connection, energy, attention, response. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's confusing, sometimes it's, oops, those were your toes, or sorry, I went the wrong way, or I lost the footwork. Often we laugh as we try again, because that's the point. The point is to dance. One of only 3 rules we've been taught about what is not allowed is not dance. The first rule. Mistakes happen often, especially when we're learning new moves as we level up. Mistakes happen for an individual or in a miscommunication between partners. And when mistakes happen, we're actually taught to just shake it off quickly and get back to dancing. Because that's the point. Dancing is the point. Follow me, Jesus calls, as fishermen Simon and Andrew cast a net into the sea. Follow me, Jesus calls, as fishermen James and John mend a net in their boat with their dad. And the fishermen drop what they're doing, leave nets and boat and father, and follow. You have to wonder what their lives were like to be willing to let go of them so quickly, so easily, with such a simple direction. Not a lot of details. There's no indication in the story that they had encountered Jesus before or even heard of him. They didn't ask any of those very sensible questions that we might imagine. But not knowing the steps, whether they knew the point of it or not, they just followed. Jesus had, according to the story, already begun proclaiming the point. Repent, he proclaimed, for the kingdom of heaven has come near. It's the same message as John the Baptist proclaimed before him. But John had been arrested, and then we'll later learn that John had been killed by the leads of the ruling kingdom, the Roman Empire. So Jesus picks up where John left off, calling first some fishermen, and then all of us with the same promise: the kingdom of heaven has come near. The empires we know, the ways of our world are not final. The point we hear as Jesus continues through Galilee is good news. The good news of healing. We just have to follow. Of course, learning to follow has been a challenge, but it's worth it. For following Jesus' call means participating in the good news that healing is possible, reconciliation is possible, making right everything that is wrong with our world is possible. God reigns. The kingdom of heaven comes near when we follow Jesus' way, when we follow Jesus. Jesus never asks for our belief. Jesus doesn't demand devotion or worship. Jesus simply calls us to follow. Our beliefs matter in our Christian life because they help guide and shape our action. Our worship and devotional practices inspire how we direct our time, our energy, our resources. But neither belief, nor devotion, nor worship are the point. The point is the kingdom of heaven on earth. Healing and reconciliation and right relationship. Right relationship amongst all people. Right relationship between humanity and God. Right relationship between humanity and all creation. It takes some basic footwork. It takes the vulnerability of connection. It takes paying attention and responding to the cues that lead us into all kinds of ministries with all sorts of twists and turns. And when we make mistakes, we just need to shake them off quickly and get back to the dance. Repent and know the kingdom of heaven. Following is fundamentally relational. One cannot follow, or lead for that matter, without being in relationship, in community. Without partnership with God and one another, there is no dance. Both roles, leading and following, are needed, or the dance doesn't exist. Far from being passive, following takes footwork, connection, energy, attention, and response. It means letting go, leaving nets and boat, and being open to unfamiliar rhythms. But the point is to dance into the kingdom of heaven whenever Jesus calls. Follow me.